There we go, we're all good. So we are just going to be covering a couple of things around social media today. Most of you are probably better at social media than me. If any of you, I don't know if any of you follow me because I don't really use social media myself, but if you have, you probably know some things as well. So by all means, share all that information you might have. Use that chat function to talk amongst yourselves. If it is, if you have something you think is actually quite useful for other people to know as well. So we'll just crack on as we go through. So what's first? Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're just going to quickly go through the SU website and how we can make some things and make some changes on there. I know a lot of you have already been quite proactive and made some changes as well, which is really good to see. There are some differences between sports clubs and societies in how we make changes on the website. So I'll go through both really quickly and then as well go through some of the shared tools that you have. So the SU website is actually quite a useful little like kind of tool to have and use, particularly as a club, as particularly now as students are using it to kind of look at what they can do when they come to the university. So making sure all the information there is really important and it's all up to date. So we'll look at a sports club to start off with. So to make any changes to a sports club's website, it's really easy. You should all have admin access to your respective pages. So any changes will you'll be able to sign in. So make sure you're signed in at the top to be able to access those. If you don't have access, drop me an email with your student number and what society or sports club you're from, and then I'll grant that access, not a problem. Literally a few buttons, so it's really quick for me to do. So for a sports club, you need to head to the page that you are wanting to edit. And then you click on, at the top, your button will say admin and then edit page. But because I'm an admin for everything, mine's on a separate thing, says edit. So you click on admin, edit page, but for me, it's just edit page. And it takes you to the website editor. So you can just go on here, make any changes you kind of want. You can even save things as a draft to come back and go back later if you don't want to make any kind of savers on there. You can do things like add photos, add YouTube videos, all those kinds of things, all on the website. That's not a problem. And then once you've kind of done finish editing all of that information on there, you just click on the save edit button and then just click publish. Once you click publish, it goes live straight away. If you want to click save and come back to it later, that's what that button does as well. So you can just go back and make any changes and then save it to come back and publish at a later date. If you want to also then delete things that you've done previously, because some of you might have multiple drafts, you can go on and delete those drafts by just clicking the delete these drafts on the save button. Nice and easy. Now on a society, it's slightly different. So if you are a member of the society, we'll go Airsoft. If you're a society, you want to go to edit and then Airsoft admin tools, or yours would be admin and Airsoft or whatever society you're from, admin tools. Once you're on that page, you want to click on edit details. And then your page is down here. And then all the things, again, you put YouTube videos, photos, all of that in the description. Anything you put in the description is what is visible on the page. So that's how you go through and access that. Sports clubs as well, if you click through and click on admin tools, you'll be able to add things like your website, your Twitter handles, your Facebook pages, your Instagram pages, and they all come up here on the sidebar. Nice and easy. That kind of covers like the front pages that you kind of see, but there are some other tools which are quite useful for you to use, particularly if you've got things like events coming up, or you've just done like some fundraising or an event that you want to kind of showcase and put about. So these are where the other tools kind of come to you. So these aren't your admin tools or edit admin tools. The first one we're going to talk about is news. So news is kind of self-explanatory. It's like a news article. So it's really easy to have. You click on the news button, add new article, and then you just go through and fill it out. It's quite self-explanatory. So the title of the page, who it's by, if you want to include that, you might not want to. And then the display period. This is how long you want it to be viewed on the website. Please be sensible and don't put it to be viewable for like the next 10 years or anything like that, because I will go in and change it. Usually like 2 or 3 months is quite a good thing to have on there. Just means people can kind of see what you've been up to like recently, as opposed to throughout the whole of the year. You can turn off whether you want comments on it or not, whether you want it sharing, whether you want people to be able to rate it. Any tags, you don't have to use those. It's just sometimes people search things by keywords, and it just means that they might pop up on the keywords. And then an image, which is like the display image, which goes alongside the news article as well. And then the body is obviously just the body of text. Now, if you have like an external website or your post is, your news article, I don't know, might be on a, I don't know, you've done something with a newspaper, local newspaper, and the article is a newspaper article, instead of like copying and pasting the newspaper article, you can just put like a link straight through to that article using the URL button on the bottom. That's really handy if you just want to link to another page. And when people click on the news article on the website, it goes straight to that one as well. So, and again, really nice, really easy tool to be able to use there. Anything that you kind of put in the news articles, they appear down here in our like news section as well. So like you go back and look at things that like have happened over like a couple of years, so like Conference Cloud Varsity, LGBT History Month, things like that. They all appear on the news article, as well as like the individual pages here. So this is some of the things that the societies have been up to. So like the Education Society posted back in August, DJ Society did one back in July as well. So they all kind of appear within that one as well. If we go back to the tools, so that's kind of the news tools, which is quite good and helpful to have. We also then have an event. So you might have an event coming up that you want to display on the SU website, particularly if you want to do things like sell tickets. Obviously, particularly with like COVID restrictions now, lots of things like handling cash we're trying to reduce and actually discourage. So if you're able to put tickets through the SU website, it's like a fundraiser or something like that, instead of collecting cash on a night, you can all set that up and set tickets and events like together, which makes money handling really easy, and it all goes through into your accounts. If you are putting tickets and stuff on website, which I'll go through after, if you are putting tickets on websites linked to events, please let us know in Students' Union, just so we can go on and do any like finance codes and stuff in the background, just so we ensure the money goes to the correct place. So right, creating an event, nice and easy, similar to the news article. You click on create an event, you click on the type in your event name, the date and time of the event, when it's to and when it's from, a bit of a little mini description, location. If you've got an external URL for like, if it's like an external event you're all going to, you need to book on tickets or something like that externally, then go on to there. Click on what the kind of event type is. That helps people like when they're going through events, which could be like a massive long list, helps like reduce the number of things on the list. So you might take, it's an online event, it's a sports club event, it's a society event, it's a free event, it's a fresh, that should be changed to like welcome. It's just some of the things we haven't changed yet. Charity or volunteering, loads of different things you can put on there. You can upload your image that goes alongside the event, and then also the display dates. Now, display dates, we kind of say ideally have like 1 week more in advance of when the event is. If you have any longer, people often just ignore it. If it gets too close to it, you risk the chance that people don't actually see the event because it has it's just too short notice. And again, full description on there as well. Once you kind of completed your event, again, events do appear up in the next section. So people can do things like look at, I don't know, if there's a sports club. So the big sports quiz, as an example, as comes up, is it these are just the ones that clubs and socks. So DJ Society have already put one up for their live stream. So is the Education Society for their virtual quiz. So they've just been shortlisted and all available to do there. Now, if you are then want to add a ticket to your event, clicking back too many times here. Tickets, you can click on tickets, and then if you it'll come up with like a list of events which you've currently booked on. You click on that, and again, it's a really self-explanatory form. You just fill out the price, when you want them to go on sale, when you want them to come off sale, and things like that. But like I said, if you are putting things on ticket-wise on there, please let us know. Just drop us an email, just so I can put the finance codes on in the background. It's not something you're able to actually do on your side of the system. Okay, so that covers kind of events, news, articles, and tickets. Now there's some other quite handy tool for you as like if you, I'm guessing quite a lot of you are like marketing execs or things like that. If you want to send a student email, now a lot more students are checking their emails more than perhaps than when I was a student. We didn't use to check our emails probably as much as you guys do, but thanks to like the MyGloss app, it's actually quite easy to check them. You can actually send emails from the society. So you can click on that, send an email. Send an email. You can click kind of where that email comes from. So is it from you or from the society? If you've got like a society email address, you can set that up, hit back in those details page, and then you can effectively fill it all out as you want. You can click on to, so you can actually be quite selective on who it goes to. Does it go to all members? If you've got a two-tiered system, I don't know, you've got like a competitive membership and sports club and a social membership, and you want something only to go to your competitive members, you can click on that and say like, oh, I only want the competitive email students to get this email. So you click on that and it'll go through and it just goes straight to their student account. Nice and easy, it saves you typing in all of your members' numbers. Now, for them to appear on here, they have to be a paid member of your club or society. So if they're not signed up, they won't get the email. And then once you click send, it'll send you a preview first of all, and then you can click send to send the actual thing. It just gives you something so you know what it looks like, and then before you send it. That kind of covers the messaging tool. Like kind of linked to that, if you want to set up your own groups so you can send certain things to certain people, you can actually create your own groups. So if you're a sports club, you might only want to send things to your first team, but you need to first of all create a first team group of all your players in your first team, or something for all of your second team players. Or if you're a society and you've got different subgroups within your society, different teams, you might create a separate one on there. That kind of covers the website tools. Does anyone have any questions about the website before we move on to the next kind of thing? I'll leave it a couple of minutes just in case anyone has any questions. Please use the chat function or raise your hand, or use the raise hand button. I can't see any of you, but oh, Alex Brown has a question. Go for it, Alex.
Hello. Just in return of the sports stash, is that to make it personalised to each club? Are buying it through this page, as in the lacrosse page, or would you buy it elsewhere to make it lacrosse specific, if that makes sense, or club specific?
So the team kit, it's a bit of an odd thing. George is going to send an update.
Okay.
On, because we're just waiting on a couple of things from Player Layer. We're just waiting on an update, but it will likely be, if it's playing kit, it'll be on our website. They have to pay for it. If it's the off-field stuff, which is the generic stuff, that will be through the Player Layer website, which a link will go out to that, because it's all handled by Player Layer then. But the playing kit is has to be separate because of the way it's customized, and Player Layer's website doesn't allow customizations the same way that we can collect it. So that's why it's the difference. Annoying, but that's just how we're going to have to work for this first year.
No, that's okay.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Good question. Any other questions? No. If there are things like products and stuff you want put on the website, you just get in touch with me and I can put them online for you. Please don't use the products button. You can. I only say that because, again, I need to put on finance codes and stuff. And if you put your own products on without letting us know, our financing get really confused because we have just money coming in and it doesn't quite make sense of where it's coming from. So avoid doing that if you can, or if you do it, let me know as soon as possible, just so I can quickly go in and add any of the codes onto it. Okay, that kind of covers the SU website. So we're going to quickly go over social media. I'm just going to leave this little tool here. So social media, I'm not going to teach you how to post on Facebook, Twitter or whatever, because I'm fairly confident you all know how to use them, and you probably know how to use them better than I can. Some of the things that we would like to be quite specific on during like this kind of bit is with your own social media is to be wary of what you are putting online. There's a number of clubs recently which we've had to get in touch with just because some of the content that they're putting online. You need to be careful of what you're putting on. One, because of it's online, everyone can see it, and you need to think about how that paints a reflection of you as a club or a society, as well as some of the implementations that might come with some irresponsible posting, by a better way of putting it. Yes, you will get in touch with, we do keep a monitor of all of your social media. We have it in like a little ticker view on one of our screens. So we do keep an eye on what you're posting, and we will get in touch if we think something you've put online is inappropriate. We're not here to police everything you put online, but we just need to make sure you're being responsible with your social media. So things like nude photos, serious no-no. Has happened in the past. Things like mentioning how much people enjoy their night out, perhaps after a social and things. Again, it's good to put pictures of people enjoying themselves, but putting videos and pictures of people up who are quite explicitly drunk.
Or if you turn out women,
or like
racism.
Things like, yeah, drug, turns out women, racism, homophobia, those kind of things. If you wouldn't post it yourself, don't post it on your club social media, which kind of, as a social media officer or marketing tech, whatever role you have within your club, make sure you have a clear way of signing in and out of your personal and club accounts. I know on some phones or there are certain apps you can download, so you have two of everything. So there's like a Facebook standard app and a Facebook Lite app. So you might use the Facebook Lite app for all of your club stuff, and then the main Facebook app for all of your club stuff. Equally, Twitter, you might use the official Twitter app for all of your personal stuff, and like a secondary Twitter app for all of your club stuff as well. So make sure you kind of have a link between the two, because the last thing you want to do is, I don't know, like on a night out, forget that you're signed into the club account and then post videos of you doing silly things. Forget about it, and by the time you've realised that loads of people have seen it and we've received loads of complaints in the Students' Union about something you posted.
Stuff does, on the speaker camera, stuff does,
George is with me, by the way.
stuff does get a lot more seen than you think it is. A couple of the teams we've had to speak to lately, it wasn't seen by myself or another member of their team staff. We've had lecturers email us and say that they've seen it from club accounts and it's not acceptable. As much as you think it's the small little bubble of the uni and that's only people seeing things, it's definitely not that, and it goes a lot further. So really do please be careful. We've got enough to deal with this year.
We don't want to also be in a situation where we actually have to suspend people from social media. We have in the past, and it's not something we want to do, because obviously you want to share all the things you're doing, all the good things as well, but it might come to that. Now, one of the things I want to kind of share to you, and it might make a lot of your lives a lot easier, is about social media scheduling. So I'm sure a lot of you might have all your accounts online ready to kind of drop in and out of, but for us in the Students' Union in particular, we don't have necessarily the time to sit on social media all the time and post things regularly ourselves manually. So what we use is a scheduling tool. So a scheduling tool, effectively, we can go online and post a whole week's or even a month's worth of social media posts in advance, and it automatically gets published. So I personally use a app called Buffer that allows you to connect things like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, allows you to connect loads of different things. And what you can then kind of do is set up what you want to post on here. It's a really easy tool to use, and you can add photos. You might customize it so it's different on Facebook and different on Twitter, and then you can kind of choose when you want that post to go out. So particularly if you've got something like an event coming up and you want to schedule like a regular post, just remind people that the event's coming up, like a countdown, like 5 days to go, 10 days to go, whatever. Something like a scheduling tool is really helpful for that. It just saves you a lot of time, and you don't necessarily have to worry about constantly being on social media and constantly doing it and forgetting accidentally to post something one day. We find it quite helpful. So Buffer is the one that I use. There are other tools as well. So Hootsuite is the one that the majority of the SU use. I just use Buffer myself because I've used it previously, so it's just a personal preference. But Hootsuite again is a great tool for scheduling your posts in advance. And I really recommend doing it. It saves a lot of time, saves a lot of, just saves a lot of time, and you're less likely to forget things. So that's my kind of handy tip for today. So what we're going to go on to now is a bit of oh, I didn't mean to do that. We're going to go on to a bit of interaction, and we're going to have a little bit of a Kahoot quiz. Hopefully this works. It could go horribly wrong, but we're gonna try it and we're gonna wing it. So if you want to grab your phones, grab your laptop, however you want to do it. Make sure you can obviously still see this screen. There's all the details to log in. I'll give you a few minutes to log in. I'm going to quickly go grab a glass of water whilst you're waiting. So go to kahoot.it and then fill it in and we'll get going. The quiz is kind of based on things like all around social media, things like when's the best time to post. So it is all relevant. It's not just a random quiz, don't worry. I'll be back with you very shortly. Helps if I mute myself. Rookie error. Right. I'm guessing that most of you are now in. So, oh, no. How many of you are there? There's 28 of you. I'll just take a little bit longer.
We've got someone called Jack.
Okay, are we ready? I would say prizes for the winner, but I currently don't have any prizes around me, but we'll do something. We might win something. Okay, let's get going. So this is a social media quiz. When are people most likely to interact with video on Instagram? I think you've all answered. Let's see what the answer is. The answer is 9 p.m. onwards. Yeah. So this is particularly for our age group, so those like 18 to 30-year-olds. I say 30-year-olds because I'm 28. I want to try and include myself in your age group whilst I still can. Yeah, mostly around 9 p.m. when people are often led in bed, about to go to bed. So an interaction on video and Instagram, best time to kind of do that. It's also when people are most likely to go to like the toilet or something before going to bed, so they'll sit on the toilet and scroll through Instagram. Quite handy as well. So go on to the next question. So well done, Sam B. Solid start, very closely behind Connor and Jet. Next one. George doesn't count, he's already done this one. Next one. Sunday's the best day for Twitter interactions, but when is peak time? So on a Sunday in particular. You're all going to go like 10 to 11 p.m. now because you think everyone's going to be asleep.
Okay, first they're asleep on social media.
Would be possible. Again, yeah, it's late in the evening before people go to work on a Monday. Last thing people do is scrolling through social media before they head to bed, because we're all early birds and we go to bed at 10 o'clock or 10 to 11 o'clock. I'm probably in bed about 9:30 on Sunday. Next one. Oh, JC has jumped to the top. Well done, JC. When should you post your photos content on this? Remember the last question was about videos, so this one's about photos. You all went straight for evenings. Now, for photo content on Instagram, people will look at it anytime. They'll scroll through whenever they kind of have a break. And the way that the Instagram like algorithm works is the more you like things for certain companies or organizations, the more likely they are to appear at the top of your feed. It's not done chronologically. So if you've got like an avid following, they're more likely to see you at any time of the day. It doesn't matter what time they post. It'll appear at the top of the news feed because it's no longer chronological. It used to be chronological. It used to make perfect sense. And then after that, it went a bit weird. And now it doesn't even show you old posts. It shows you recommended posts. It's mad. Okay, next question. I'm like George's laughing at me, but he's just secretly jealous that the social media expert me. When do people check their emails the most is this question. George never checks his email. He does something. Yeah, Wednesdays and Thursdays are the most likely time people will interact with emails the most. Mondays and Fridays are usually written off on the sense that they are towards the end of the week, they'll come back to it, or they'll come back to it at the start of next week, or they'll come back to it later on in the week if it's on a Monday. Tuesdays are usually catching up on everything, but yeah, Wednesdays and Thursdays midweek is when you're most likely to get people interacting with emails. That's not to say as soon as we reply to emails every day. We don't just reply to them on a Wednesday or Thursday. We reply to them every day as quickly as we can. So just on that. Connor is flying ahead. I think he's done this quiz before. When's the best time of day to send an email then?
I think I've got this wrong, and I think I've got this wrong the same way I got it wrong last time.
It's not necessarily mean. Yeah, 10 a.m. The reason for that is people will most likely interact with it in the afternoon. So if you send it first thing, people usually glance over it quickly and they're most likely not going to read it. But if you send something around 10 a.m., they'll kind of get to it midday when they're like doing the bulk of their work. They're not trying to catch up on things in the morning. If you send it too late, they'll just ignore it until the next day. Again, not what we do in the SU. This is just a generic, like what happens generically. I'll always kind of get emails replied back to you as quickly as I can. Again, Connor flying is followed closely behind by Sam B. Carton killing it. What is the average consumer attention span online?
This one makes quite a lot of sense when you figure out the answer.
I just enjoy the music.
If you're enjoying this music, you're missing a screw. It literally breaks my brain.
Someone's having a real think about this. There we go. 8 seconds. I'm not sure if any of you are old enough to remember that Vine, Vines were deliberately 8 seconds long for a reason. It's because it's the attention span of a consumer. It's really quite upsetting that people will only engage with things around 8 seconds. But yeah, so if you can remember Vine, that was the reason behind Vine being 8 seconds long, because that's how long people have attention for. I'm not sure what TikTok is. Does TikTok have a limit?
I don't know.
I don't know. Answers on a postcard to that question, if TikTok has a limit. Not quite the same as Vine. I did love Vine. Go back on YouTube and type in Vines. You'll have a well of a time if you've not watched them. Yeah, Connor, absolutely killing it. Next round. So what social media platform has the highest engagement rate?
I always forget that one of these classes is social media.
Yeah, the answer is YouTube. In terms of views and comments, YouTube is used the most. Instagram, people like things, but again, they're not really engaging with it as such. Engagements, things like comments, as well as just pure likes and the natural number of views of it. So if you look at YouTube, things go into the billions of views, where Instagram, hundreds of thousands at most. Yeah, Gang Myself, first video to reach a billion views, isn't it?
Plus all the likes and dislikes.
Yeah, plus all the likes, dislikes, all the comments, everything. So yeah, YouTube is often forgotten about as kind of like a social media tool, but it is classed as a social media platform. Next question. How many Facebook followers do we have? This might have changed. This is the SU, by the way, the SU have. That's a rough guess. How many do we have? I don't actually know.
I know what it's closer to now, but I don't know what it was when we did this.
Yeah, I think I know what it is. So some of you have clearly just gone onto the Facebook page.
Oh, it's not generally cheap.
Yeah, it's closer to 8,000 than it was 7,500. We've just had a boost of likes from and followers from the recent insurgence of new students. I did, yes. Connor is screaming ahead. Okay, what's the maximum number of characters you can use on Twitter?
Is this right? Have you changed this?
I have got this one right. This one has changed from what Twitter used to be.
Less than the disguise over there.
Yeah, 280. It used to be 140, then it got doubled. You are so lucky that you have all those characters. I can't remember when Twitter, when I was using Twitter a lot more back in the day. This is how old I am. Back in the day, when Twitter was kind of a new thing. Yeah, you had to fit everything into 140 characters. Mad. And if you use an emoji, it used up like 3 or 4 of the characters. It's mad. Absolutely mad. Okay, I think this is the last question. Oh no, 2 more. Second one, penultimate question. What's the most used story platform?
I've definitely got this one. Oh,
Instagram stories, yeah. It used to be Snapchat when Snapchat just came out, but then Instagram did stealing the idea and making it different. And yeah, Instagram stories are used now the most. I'm not sure if any of you have used the new Instagram Reels. I've not used them myself personally yet, but they're also taking off as a way of sharing content. So do have a look at Instagram Reels as well. Okay, last question. Will Connors. How often should you post on a Facebook page each day? That's like a public page, not your group chat. Because if any of you are on the committee's group Facebook for sports clubs, it's got 7 a day at the moment.
yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, once a day. Again, it comes down to how Facebook algorithms work. People are more likely to engage with 1 post a day, and it'll come up kind of at the top of their feeds if they engage with you more regularly, if they like things more often. So yeah, make sure you're not over Facebooking. Over Facebooking is a bad thing because people just won't engage with it. If you're wanting to post multiple things, that's where things like Twitter and Instagram are probably your better sources than Facebook. So let's hear the winner. There we go. Connor wins there, followed by Sandy, followed by George, who's in the same office as me, so he probably secretly knows the answers. Run out by Isengriff. We'll try and sort something out for you, Connor, as a little bit of a prize. I don't know what that is yet, but I'll find something. Okay, right, that concludes the quiz. How do I close, leave? There we go. Right, so you can close that down, and we'll go back to kind of planning marketing campaigns. So this is kind of we're kind of wrapping up here. So with a planning and marketing campaign, you might have a campaign coming up, whether that's you're doing some charity work, as a bit of awareness for certain things. So it might be Rainbow Laces Month for Sport Club. It might be a specific History Month, like Black History Month for a society. And you want to plan a campaign to go along with that. So you need to have a plan. And what I kind of suggest is only 1 person or a couple of you at most is responsible for the marketing side of that plan and that campaign. So you need to take into consideration, how are you going to do it? Is it just going to be complete digital? Are you just going to do Facebook posts? Is it going to be Instagram posts? Are you going to make YouTube videos to go along with it? Kind of write yourself a list of what you want to do as like a campaign. Use those scheduling tools, like I said. So go back and use things like Buffer or Hootsuite, and use those as a tool to schedule everything in. And just make sure that that one person, although you might have assistance from everyone else on your committee, that one person's kind of managing it. What you don't want is loads of people adding to something all at the same time, and then you're ending up with like 3 posts, one after each other, or a bit of mixed messages. You say one thing in one post, one thing in another post. Other things you might want to consider is things like, are you having posters made? Where are those posters going to be put? Are you doing things like flyering? Not that we encourage that, so if you're doing things like posters and flyering, please get in touch with us before you do things like that. And that kind of leads into the next thing, which is planning your marketing like comms checklist. So if you are doing like an event, you're doing, like I said, like a campaign, create yourself like a little sheet. So we kind of have one in the SU, which we'll happily share with you guys as well. Like a bit of a checklist. You can make it yourself on how you're going to do it. What is the event of campaign? What do I need? Do I need like, obviously what we have in the SU is a bit different. Does it need to be a screen advert? Is it an email to all your members? Is it small posters? Is it an e-letter? Things like that. Different stages, when you're going to do it. You really plan that marketing comms checklist. That way you're avoiding missing something. And it just makes sure you actually have a plan as opposed to like winging it. Often when you wing a social media campaign, you don't get the results you want to as well. Now, it's also like quite handy to use like the analytics behind some of the media platforms. So I'll use Karting as an example because they did an excellent kind of roundup in their AGM this year, which was great by Connor, so well done for doing that, Connor. Look at what posts engage the most and replicate those posts, and look at the ones that don't receive the most posts, like likes and stuff, engagements, and probably avoid doing similar things like that. Things like adding photos and videos to posts get a lot more likes, so try and include content like that. That kind of, let me unshare my screen now. Stop share. That kind of covers everything that I wanted to kind of go through. Oh, thank you, Isabel, for the TikTok 15 seconds or 1 minute. That's a long video, but cool. Thanks Isabel. That kind of covers everything that I wanted to discuss about. Does anyone have any kind of questions they want to ask about social media wise that I can get back to you about or answer now? Real important, like if you guys are doing things on social media, make sure you're tagging the SU into those posts as well. It just means that we can see it, we know what's going on, we can share it if needed, and always keep in touch, especially if you've got events coming up. Do let us know, because we can help with the advertising and things with that. Don't just necessarily think you need to go it alone as like a club or a society. But we want to know what you're doing in your sessions as well. So by all means, send them through. So I'll wait just a little bit in case everyone has any questions. So add them into the chat or unmute yourself and ask them away, by all means. But if not, and you want to feel like you want to hop out of it, you want to kind of leave the session, I won't be disheartened if you all suddenly leave now. That kind of covers everything that I wanted to go through. I didn't realize until this year that there was a marketing award. What kind of thing gets you nominated for it? So, marketing award there's a NOMI and a sports award for it, I believe. Things like really good social media posts, real good engagement, how you engage with the SU as well. Are you sharing things the SU does? Are you sharing our campaigns? Are you engaging with our campaigns? Are you doing good things yourself? Those kinds of things. We look at like the quality of the work you're doing as well. So whilst you might share things all the time, is it actually of good quality? Yes or no? So if you're creating like really good videos and stuff, those are the kinds of things that we look out for as well. So by all means, yeah, share. That's kind of what gets you recognition and nominated for that award. It's how you interact online. Hope that answers your question, Isabel. Any other kind of questions? No? Okay, so I'll wrap it up here. Like I said, in all of the other kind of sessions I've done today, we are recording all of them. These have all been recorded. So if you want to go back and watch them kind of in your own time, anything, if you want to go back and particularly go through some of those Kahoot things, if you didn't have time to write them down throughout the session, then you can go back and do that. Tomorrow, you've got a session if you want to engage with at 11:30, which is creating engaging content. And the President Luke, who used to be a TV production student, who does quite a lot of the like visual stuff you see coming from the SU, he's actually presenting that session. So it'd be really good to join in on that one. So by all means, jump in that with Luke. Like I said, 11:30 tomorrow morning, get on that. But unless anyone has anything else, I will see you all very soon. Bye, everyone.